Former ice-cold water salesman Donald Trump has landed in some hot water after taking home classified White House documents in an effort to reduce screen time in the bathroom. The former president has been indicted on 37 federal counts, but many think he may get away with it all because of the judge overseeing the case, Aileen Cannon. Who is she?
I think you need to speak, Miss Cannon, they're telling me. I'm no AV expert. My teenagers aren't here.
I do. Thank you,
Excellent.
Chairman.
You do? Thank you.
Yes, I do.
After graduating from Duke and the University of Michigan's law school, Cannon clerked for Judge Stephen M. Colleton, who was once on Trump's list of potential Supreme Court picks before he ultimately nominated 3 other Federalist Society judges instead: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. The Federalist Society, of course, is a nationwide organization of conservative lawyers that each of the current Republican Supreme Court justices were associated with. Why are we mentioning this? Aileen Cannon has been a member of the Federalist Society since 2005. So perfectly aligning with the former steak salesman's interests, in 2020, former President Trump appointed Cannon to Florida's federal bench. 2 years later, in 2022, she intervened in the case we're all talking about now. After the FBI executed a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, Trump asked for the investigation into his classified document hoarding to be put on pause until a special master, or third-party attorney, was appointed. Cannon granted Trump's wishes and went out of her way to prohibit the Justice Department, quote, from further review and use of any of the materials seized from plaintiff's residence for criminal investigative purposes, unquote, until the special master was finished. Cannon caught heat for this unprecedented move from both sides of the legal political spectrum, including from William Barr, who called the move to keep certain documents from criminal investigators deeply flawed. A few months later, a conservative appeals court of 3, 2 of which were appointed by Trump himself, unanimously struck down Cannon's decision, and the case moved on. And then, for the first time in American history, a former US president was criminally indicted. Trump faces 37 federal charges, including obstruction and unauthorized retention of national defense information. Just when Trump's endeavor to stay afloat appeared to be coming to a conclusion that looked something like hitting an iceberg and sinking, Aileen Cannon was randomly assigned the small task of being the judge in the case. So how much power do judges really have, you ask, trembling? Well, she'll basically be controlling the case. Cannon will oversee what evidence is brought to the jury and who sits on that jury, a task that includes finding a group of people who have no opinion about one of the most polarizing figures of all time. She will also oversee the screening process known as voir dire, which involves both sides questioning potential jurors to weed out anyone who may show bias one way or the other. Leaving the qualifications up to Cannon, who's already shown allegiance to Trump, has many worried that this could lead to a few Trumpers slipping through the cracks. Cannon will also be in charge of the timing and scheduling of the case, which could be particularly important given that Trump is, as you might know, running for president. If Eric Trump's dad secures the throne once again while the trial is still going, he could potentially self-pardon or appoint an attorney general who could drop the case. All eyes are on Aileen Cannon.